Ready? Yay! Hello and welcome to our Book Explosion Restore Me live show. So, Restore Me. I'm sorry. Anyway, so Restore Me is the fourth installment of Tahara Mafi's Shatter Me series, where we're following our same characters. So, if you have not read the series, this probably is definitely going to spoil things. So be aware of that. Like, you can chill and hang if you want to be spoiled, but like, you're gonna be spoiled. Now, so we recommend going to read Restore Me because Defy Me is coming out really, really soon, and you'll be all prepared. We're prepared now, guys. I'm so happy. So I'll kick us off with your thoughts, Kitten. You want to?
Who are we?
We're Book Explosion. Damn it, I ruined everything. Hi, I'm Christine.
I'm Kat.
I'm Jesse. We're also taking your questions over on Twitter using the hashtag BookSplodeme.
I thought I really had this, and I guess I didn't.
It's okay. We're also going to be trying to monitor the chat. So if you have questions that you want to put in the chat as well, we'll try to grab those questions too.
Okay. I have something else to say. We're taking questions on Twitter using the hashtag BookSplodeme. So go to those questions, please, so we can interact with you, because that's why we're doing. We want to say hi. Yeah. Okay, Kat, kick us off.
Okay, all right, this is general non-spoilery for this book. But
Yeah, we'll have a short non-spoilery section for this book right now.
Yeah. Okay. So I was a little apprehensive about this. Like, that's why I feel like most of us waited so long to pick this up, because like the Shatter Me series, we finished that trilogy several years ago, and like the Ignite Me felt pretty complete for like that trilogy.
Oh, I don't think it felt complete.
I don't either.
I watched your book talk, Christine, and mine as well, and both of us say like we could go for more because we never get to see the fallout of like what after they topple the government, like,
because it always felt like more of a character story, and we didn't really understand the government.
Yeah. But in this book, we got so much more world development and world building. Like, I feel like I have such a better sense for the world. Like, I didn't realize how near future it was in the first trilogy. I feel like I thought it was like, you know, a generic dystopian hundreds of years in the future. Things have really, really changed. Yeah. And it's not that far in the future. And yeah, I loved learning about the world. I loved how we're moving in a more like political direction with like the leaders of the world. And I love our characters. I love Julia and Warner. I like their relationship in this book. Even though, well, is that spoilery? I don't know how to talk about this without spoilers. Things.
Juliet is so annoying still. She always.
You see, are we jumping into this or not?
Sorry, Jesse, tell us your thoughts.
Because I have thoughts about that. But so I was talking about this before we got into the live show. I didn't know if this is like respectful or disrespectful to say this, but it felt like fan fiction in the best way. Like, I really enjoyed being back in this world. I really love these characters so much. It felt like Tahara Mafi was just like, here, fans, have all this stuff that you want. You know you want this. Like, all the good Warnet moments. We have so many great Kenji moments. And
Kenji's really a shining star in this.
Really is. He needs his own spin-off because he is a star. Like, he just
well, did you guys read the novella of him?
No, but we'll get to that later. So anyway,
I'm not done.
One quick thing. He's the third perspective in the next book.
What?
That makes me super happy.
Well, yeah, that's questionable. Who lives or dies? Okay, go ahead.
I also really liked seeing Juliet like having to deal with the pressures of being a leader in this book. I thought that was oh wait, are we not supposed to spoil?
No, I think it's fine. I just like really want to rant about Juliet, so go ahead.
Okay.
We know that because at the end of it, she becomes the leader, and she's a 17-year-old leader.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, I liked seeing that pressure and like seeing her being like, yeah, this is too much for a 17-year-old. And I also really liked some of the new characters that we get.
Yeah,
that's all I have to say. Okay.
Me too. I love
Yes.
Nazira. She's
Yes.
yeah, she's awesome. Okay, Juliet is saying like, "Oh my God, how did I not know that this was gonna be hard?" Like, I was just like, "You're so annoying." You're like, "I'm the supreme commander." Like, what have you been doing that you didn't think this was gonna be hard? It's so weird. Like, if I were her, I would be like, "Warner, please help me do this.
Yeah.
Like, you basically do this, and I'll be like the head face of it and make ultimate decisions." But she's never been in this case in which she like takes meetings by herself. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you don't know how anything's runs or works. You don't know these people. Like, how can you feel like you could do it yourself? This is a place where you can use someone who has more.
That was one point that I really didn't get, like, why she wanted to be leader, because it seemed like she didn't really want to be leader.
Yeah.
And at that point, it didn't seem like she needed to be leader.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm confused about why she was like, I have to do this, because like Warner had been like raised to do this his whole life.
Yeah.
So like, why couldn't they lead together? But like, takes care of all the stuff that like he knows how to do, and she doesn't.
Also, like, they're 17, so no. Like, it's just like everything that's happening. I was just so confused. It's like we were zoomed in. It's like that feeling you get when you're reading Divergent and you think about it for too long, and you're like, wait, where is everyone else? Like, and how is this working? And you start to feel that in here, and then we zoom out a little bit, and we're like, oh shit, okay. But still, like, what's happening? Like, where are the adults? Like, in any world where this would happen, adults would swarm immediately, you know? Like, I mean, even Castle, I'd be like, Castle, do you want to do this? Like,
yeah, well,
Castle was so frustrating. Can I just say that? Like, he was so annoying in this book.
I forget everyone other than our main characters. So like, I was like, who's Castle? Like, who's even Kishimoto? I was like, who's Kishimoto again? Like, I can't remember that was Kenji's last name. Like, I didn't talk about any of these in my book talks. All I talked about was like ranting about Juliet and how much I love Warner.
Yeah.
So sorry. My thoughts are, I waited a year to read this, and I've been spoiled that something big was going to happen. So the whole time I was like, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? And when I do that, I'm never surprised. So
you weren't surprised by anything, even though, like,
I was like,
just because it was hinted at?
Spoilers? Are we gonna go into spoilers?
Yeah, spoilers. Let's do spoilers.
Okay, spoilers are coming. So with Nazira, like it was annoying me how long it took Juliet to like catch on to anything when she was like, you don't remember me? And Juliet just like let it go after like a second when she's like, oh, never mind. You just look familiar. Like, how could you not think this might be your sister? How could you not think you might be related? Like, you just learned you had a sister and this whole other family and this whole other life. The only thing that maybe surprised me a little, but I wasn't like gasp surprised, was the photo at the end where she knew Warner. But they were little, so Warner could have not remembered her. Like,
I'm confused about like why Nazira remembers her when no one else seems to.
Yeah.
Juliet's mind was like her memories were erased. So I have so many questions after reading.
Yeah, well, they clearly have like a memory re-erasing serum, kind of like in Divergent. Like,
why is Nazira the only one who remembers?
Maybe because she's the only one that never showed that she had powers. So like maybe they never experimented on her. I don't, because Warner has abilities. Do you think they experimented on him?
I didn't know that Warner had abilities for a while. Like,
I forget the other books. So, like, everything I'm assuming might be wrong.
I mean, I forgot that Adam and Warner were brothers, so.
I didn't forget that. I remembered as soon as they started talking. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Well, it's not like, okay, Juliet is like the only child of the Supreme Commanders who like got experimented on. So why Juliet and her sister? Like, do all the Supreme Commander kids have powers? Because like it turned out Warner has powers and Nazira has powers.
Yeah, I'm
Does
kind of
have powers because it seemed like he was kind of hiding something.
I'm
Like, all have powers.
I'm confused about like how did Nazira end up being adopted by the other family? You know, like why?
Nazira.
What?
What, Nazira?
Oh wait, no, never mind. Nazira's not her sister. Nazira just was like, no, sir. Sorry, I confused myself for a second.
Her sister, Emmeline.
Emmeline. Yeah, well, we didn't get to see Emmeline, which was like a big bummer. I really wanted to see her, and meet her. But I think that, like, I'm confused. Castle has powers, right? Like, older people have powers? Like, was this a thing in the other book? Did we know that older people could have powers?
I don't remember that detail. I didn't remember that Warner had powers until I was like reading this, and he has like he can like read emotions.
I forgot. Did he ever? I never knew he could read emotions. I thought he could read powers.
Okay, so Castle does have powers. He has the gift of highly advanced telekinetic powers.
Yeah. So because he has telekinetic powers, like Warner can use his powers. He's like Peter from Heroes. He like sucks up people's powers and uses them. Why does he also get to suck up emotions? I didn't know this. I don't remember this ever being a thing.
Yeah, I don't remember that part either. That part I was like, wait, Warner can do that?
I know, I was so confused. It was like, is he Jasper from Twilight?
And also, I feel like if he could do that, if he can suck up powers from people, then like, wouldn't he know who has powers and who doesn't?
Or is it just like I don't know, when Peter does it, he doesn't know what's going on at first.
Yeah. And also, Warner wasn't aware that he could do this for a while. Like, I feel like he learned about this in the first.
I've always been aware about the emotions thing. Because you just feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Warner was angst fest like 2000 in this book. Like, we've never been in his head, I guess, so maybe he's always like this, but like he comes off more humor-y in Juliet's point of view. And then when we went to his point of view and everything was just like, sirs. My favorite part was when he was on the pills with Kenji.
Yeah, the Warner and Kenji scenes were like some definite highlights for me. Because like I love their dynamic. They're both like sassy in different ways, and it just like plays together really nicely. I mean, also I remember them being my two favorite characters from the original trilogy, so not surprising that I love them here too.
Yeah. Didn't it feel like this book went like here and then it stopped in the middle? Like that's where I was like, I'm so close to the end. How did I get here? Wait, we don't even have the meeting yet. And then it was like over and I was like, wait, what?
The meeting happened really quickly. I thought there was going to be more build up for that. I thought that was going to be like a big climactic scene. Yeah. It was like very short and also very confusing. Like, what happened at the end?
It went so fast that I was like, what's going on? It's kind of like we're seeing from Juliet's point of view and she's an unreliable narrator. This is what's happened. Like Juliet, I listened to the audiobook and that page when she was like, I'm not insane went on for so long.
I hated that.
I was like, oh my God.
Because I had it like up a few speeds and it was just like, oh my God, okay, stop.
I read the actual book, but as soon as I saw that page, I was like, I wonder how this is in the audiobook.
And then like the strike throughs were like, it's like, oh, this hurts my ears.
I know. That scared me the first time. I was like, what's going on?
Malfunctioning.
Yeah, I can't imagine being the audiobook girl and reading that. Like, I'm not insane. I'm like, Juliet, someone who writes this is insane. Just write it once and move on.
Oh man.
Also classic Juliet fainting at the end. Here,
I was she did faint at the very, very end. I was like, she was like electrocuted or something.
Not at the end. She was just like looking at pictures.
Yeah.
Oh, there she blows.
So did you guys predict that she was like the daughter of the Oceania commander?
No, I didn't know that they were a commander, but I thought they must be somewhere because it's kind of reminded me of Handmaid's Tale in a way, like how have you not watched that yet? Oh my god, it's amazing. You have to watch it. Anyway.
I want to. It's on my list.
Anyway, like the people who like feel the strongest about the movement end up in high places when the movement takes over. So I assume that they'd be a high-ranking place. I just didn't put two and two together that they'd be like Oceania.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of.
I wonder, like, how the parents gave her up to another country, though. Like, why didn't they? Their own country. Like the fact that she's from like New Zealand, Australia, and she was like given out to be held in an American prison, and like after all this time, like they like stopped following up on her. Like,
and why is her sister also there? Like, why is her sister also in America? Yeah.
And like, why are they the only ones being experimented on? Like, did none of the do any of the other commander children have powers, and did any of them ever show them? Like, is that
maybe the parents also are not as cruel in that weird way that her parents are, where they like experiment on them. Maybe they were like, "Don't, not our kids," like everything else. I don't know. Like, what has Nazira been through? Like, was she forced to torture people too? Like, I'm interested in.
Yeah, it sounds like just Warner was from like them being all together. That like just Anderson was like the worst.
But he said that like when the friends got together, they were like told to shoot each other to like prepare themselves for being shot.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, that's insane. And also we never kind of got closure on this poison thing. Like, has it made her anything? Do you think it was like feeding into an ability to like see the future or the past? Like, because she was seeing all these birds in the sunshine? Like,
I have so many theories and so many thoughts and like no answer. Like, this really felt like the first half of a story. Like,
that's what I mean. It ended in the middle.
Yeah, it ended in the middle. And like, so I don't know how there's going to be 2 more books, like how that like pacing and lineup is going to work, because and I don't know. But yeah, it felt like a lot of establishing things and like raising a lot of questions, but no real answers. Like, even the answers that we kind of got were just setting up for like more mysteries and to be taken care of in a future book. Like, this felt very much like a middle book. But like also a reintroduction kind of. Yeah.
Like, and her power, she had like powers like 11 almost, where like she could scream and like do stuff.
I thought it was like
did she?
I don't want to spoil the Umbrella Academy, but like a character in the Umbrella Academy.
I mean, kind of. I just feel, I don't know. It was like, I don't know why I kept reminding me of Stranger Things. Maybe it was like the image of everyone just like tearing in half.
I think I read the Kenji novella.
Because I feel like I did, but I can't remember.
The
new one.
What is it? His point of view of this?
Yeah. It's the ending chapters from Kenji's point of view, and it introduced a couple more details. I think like reading it immediately after reading this, I was just like, I just read this scene.
Yeah.
It does get a little repetitive, but if you read Restore Me last year when it came out, the Kenji novella is like the perfect refresher of like what went down at the end of the book.
Yeah, I mean, like, did they both get shot?
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, you tell me.
No, because our audience is watching right now. Can't tell her after.
Okay.
Someone in the audience tell me in the chat.
But don't spoil it for everybody else.
What do you mean? It's just a novella.
But people care about that stuff. You don't like being spoiled for things.
I know, but this is old.
No.
I will answer because I think it was vague at the end of this book.
Warner got shot.
Kenji didn't get shot. The reason he had blood on him was because he was like helping Brendan, who got shot.
Okay, Warner definitely got shot. Like, there was like a line of just like the chapter in the audiobook was just like white noise. I was like,
Yeah.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like radio static.
I'll
Yeah.
show you what it looked like in here. It was just dots. It was just
yeah. I was just like, so are you out cold?
yeah, I don't know what that means.
I doubt he's dead.
He's not dead. He can't be dead. He's Warner.
It's true.
Yeah,
Like,
no, he's not dead.
They're gonna get back together. Like it's
Yeah,
just
they definitely are.
it's just a matter of working through their issues. And Warner like speaking, like he's like, "Oh, she didn't ask me. You shouldn't ask me. Like you just never say anything."
It's like she didn't know to ask you. That's why.
Well, I mean, okay. Also, this book takes place. It's been like 2 weeks since the last book, so like they haven't really had that much time to like talk. So like I understand
that it's been like only 2 weeks. When he finds out that the girlfriend, the ex-girlfriend, like dated him for like 2 years, and she's been dating him for like a week. It's like, okay, and like if you put it in that perspective, it's kind of like, okay, calm down, Juliet. You've been dating for a week, so how would you know anything about him?
Yeah. And like I usually hate like miscommunication, plot, things like that, where it's like if the characters just talked to each other, everything would be solved. But that's not exactly the case here, because like if they do talk to each other, it doesn't solve things, first of all. And also, I totally understand Warner being so closed off, because like he's had to be his entire life. And like Juliet is like the first person he's ever started to like open himself up to. So like I didn't blame him at all. And like Juliet not confiding in him or not relying on him, like I also didn't hold that against her. Like it made a lot of sense, because she's trying to like prove herself. Like she's trying to prove that she can do this on her own. So like I didn't dislike any miscommunication things, even though I usually do.
Yeah, I don't blame Warner for that, because like you said, he doesn't like know any better. And they've only been dating for like 5 seconds. But like I do blame Juliet for like wanting to do it all by herself. But like she's just and you put it in perspective, she's a teenager, and like that is something that you can get stuck in that time, because you just want to do it yourself.
I didn't blame her for wanting to do it on her own. I just didn't understand why she was motivated to be the supreme commander. Like why should you be the supreme commander? Like just because she's super powerful? Is that like adults are like letting her get away with this because
well, obviously they're just letting her get away with it because she's a giant experiment that went wrong, and they're like, hey, how do we deal with this?
Right.
They're like, we're just gonna wipe her out with a bomb, so just hold your horses. I mean, I don't. The whole thing, like, if you were unexpectedly just named like president of the United States, like, you would be like, okay, someone who knows how this job rolls, please assist me. And she's just like all of a sudden the president of an entire continent, like, and she's like, nobody help me, I've got it.
I really want to know why her parents gave her up to the establishment and didn't keep her in New Zealand. Like, that's the part that I have the most trouble accepting, because like all the other supreme commanders have children, and so like we didn't really hear a lot of information about like
maybe this reestablishment started in the United States, and then they distributed their ranking officers to be supreme leaders in different areas, because maybe Oceania didn't want to be a reestablishment run, and they like overpowered them and sent someone there to be their person. That's a possibility.
I just like all the other supreme commanders got to have children to like take over their countries afterwards, but like who are the heirs to Oceania if not Juliet?
And also, don't you get like a weird feeling that her parents, like with what she's heard about her parents, might be wrong? Like it might have been told from like a demonizing point of view, from like, because why did they come and get her like they did? You know, like If they were so separated from her, I would think they'd want them to bomb it. Like she's a danger. The establishment doesn't want her.
But they come and they get her and they put her in like her childhood bedroom.
Yeah.
And,
maybe they were taken from them and it wasn't voluntary, and that's just what they put in their notes so that they wouldn't get in trouble.
I mean, that would actually make sense too because of how Nazira has never told anyone about her abilities. Maybe she saw what happened to the other Supreme Commander kids who like showed abilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So many possibilities.
Yeah, I just have so many. I'm glad that the next book comes out in like 2 weeks because like I need some answers.
Yeah. Do we have questions? We haven't taken any questions. We've just been like,
someone earlier asked how you feel about Juliet's Britney Spears moment where she like shaves her head and.
Oh yeah, did you say you hate it?
I didn't say I hate it.
Oh, okay. You were talking in another window, and I got really confused which cat was the real cat. What did you say about her Britney Spears moment?
Somebody asked about it.
Somebody asked about it.
Oh, what did you think?
I liked it.
When she did it, I was like, here we go. Classic shedding the hair moment in a young adult novel.
I mean, at least her and Warner have like similar haircuts now.
They're matching now.
I just kept drawing parallels to Divergent in my brain, and like she has the same moment in Divergent where she cuts her hair, and then she's like, "I'm Triss." Watch out.
Guys, you know what's wild? Is that
is wild?
Sorry, Defy Me, the next book. I believe it's the shortest book.
Yeah, she said it has the most heart. I just saw that post. She's like, it's the shortest of the 4, but it's packed with heart.
I mean, it's not like super, super short. It's like 150 pages. So like it's still.
Did this not feel short? It felt short to me.
It did feel short. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like it was said, it was like all of a sudden in the middle it cut off. Yeah. Yeah, so it's interesting.
Yeah. I think with this one, the beginning is what took me a while to get through because like not a lot really happens in this book. It's just a lot of like setting things up and dealing with fallout from the previous book. And then like I felt like everything just happened at the end all of a sudden.
Nothing happens really till she gets shot. And then
and that happens like near the middle. Yeah,
and then all of a sudden like we're getting all this information. It was like typical, like the last chapters with Castle were really annoying me, like how much do you actually know about Oceania, end of chapter. And then it was like and then he talked to Warner and he was like, you don't know? Like, do you not know about Juliet? And then it was like, end of chapter. And then it was like another chapter where he finally talked about what he learned from Castle.
I'm very suspicious of Cat. Like, I don't know. Like, he's absolutely manipulating them and like orchestrating the situation, but I don't know if he's doing it for good or bad reasons.
Well, I feel like he took in Kenji, so I think we're like made to trust him in that way.
Yeah, but he knows about Warner. Like everyone knows about Warner's powers and that Warner and Juliet are in love because of like the Supreme Commander's notes and like just how much information he knows. If he knows all this stuff about Juliet, like how does he know this? Why didn't he mention it before? I don't know. I just think it's really suspicious that he knows so much and he's just like nudging the pieces on the board. He's like a puppet master.
Yeah. But he also seems to be the only adult. Like, I don't know why Warner's grandfather isn't more assertive in any. He's so like, like, he never talks to Warner like his elder. You know, like he never gives him advice or says anything.
He's like a butler.
Yeah, he is. He's very butlery. It's weird almost.
I liked learning more about Kenji's life too a little bit, like learning about his parents. I mean, even though it was kind of sad.
Oh my god, that line where Kenji was like, you know, I guess I'm the only one here who like doesn't have daddy issues because I love to get out of my dad.
Melting.
feels.
Yeah, I really liked Kenji. Kenji was the best. Like, he was the character that I was like, let's get Kenji in this scene.
Yes.
And most of the scenes were just like Kenji, Warner, and Juliet, honestly. Like, it was just like, that's what we were living for, the dynamic there.
Yeah.
And it was almost like no other characters existed. I know, like, Kent, Adam was there in a couple scenes. And it was nice to kind of get the redemption of Adam in a way. Like, he talked about how he was in a bad place and all that stuff.
It was very interesting seeing him and Warner like start to connect and stuff.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I like that.
Try to relate. It's interesting.
Yeah, I like that. And I feel like everyone gives Adam a lot of flack for being a jerk, including me probably in the past. Like,
Yeah, well, because he was in book 3.
yeah, but like honestly, they're just teenagers working through hormones in that moment, you know?
Yeah.
And like now we got to see Adam's perspective on like when he found out Warner was his brother, he thought Warner was like an evil sociopath and like didn't know what that meant for like him or for James or anything.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I really love that Tahara does in these books is that she'll establish a trope and then like, or a dynamic or establish something and then completely flip it upside down in another book, but does it in a way that like works and that has us like on board through every situation. Like in book 1, you're on board with Adam and Juliet. And then by book 3, you're on board with like Juliet and Warner and hating Adam. And like, I love how she does that.
Yeah, and the fact that it takes place over such a short period of time also adds to it because like, I mean, it feels so much longer. But really, like, he was just an asshole like a second ago, and now he's like calmed down and is apologizing, you know? Like, it's like a normal human.
Right.
But yeah, do we have another question?
We have some questions on Twitter we can answer.
Twitter.
From Wicked West, they ask, which book in the series was your favorite so far?
Ignite Me definitely was my favorite.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Ignite Me as well, but the next book could be a very strong contender because of just the direction we're going in. Like, I love the political families, and like we have this group of like the kids of the political leaders, and like Juliet does belong with them. Like, she is one of them. And yeah, I'm excited to see where we go next. But Ignite Me is my favorite so far.
It has been a long time since I've read these books. But I remember like loving the second one, and I didn't love the
Really?
third one, so.
Really?
What's it called again?
I remember Unravel Me. I remember
Unravel
being
Me.
really annoyed in that book.
You what?
I remember being really annoyed because like Adam was so annoying.
Oh. For some reason, I remember liking it, so I guess that one. But I was super unsatisfied with Ignite Me, so I can't call it my favorite.
I remember loving it.
I remember loving it. Yeah, the whole thing just made me so happy.
Yeah, me too.
I was just like, this is everything I want.
Yeah, I was like, oh, the Warner's happening.
Yeah.
Sorry, can't relate.
I'm trying to think. I was just gonna say something, and I don't remember what it is anymore. Yeah, I don't know. Oh. Do you remember how it worked with Warner and Adam? Like, do they have the same mom, or do they only just have the same dad, or like, how did they get separated? Like, what's going on there? I'm like, I don't remember at all.
I don't remember how they got separated, but I feel like they have different moms. I feel like
only the same mom. Someone just said, okay.
They have the same mom?
So they don't have the same dad, but they made allusions to like them not knowing the dad, and they're glad that they didn't only the same dad.
Only the same dad. Okay.
Only the same dad. Okay.
Only the same dad.
Okay.
Okay, so is Anderson is all of their parents or all of their father?
Adam's
He's
mom.
all of their parents. He's the mom and the dad.
Okay. So how did that happen? Was it just like an affair?
Yeah, Adam's mom was the side chick.
Oh my god. Okay. Wow.
James and Adam have the same mom and dad.
It's like thunderstorming here. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I forgot a lot of the these little family dynamics.
Yeah, James and Adam must have the same mom and dad, so they're from the same.
Or at least same mom.
Yeah.
No, because James is also Warner's half brother.
Yeah, the dad. They have the same dad. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
They all have the same dad. And but yeah, I liked a little moment with Warner and James too. And he's like, talk about how to make you feel better.
Yeah, that was cute. I like
it won't make me feel any better.
But then it did. And I like that Adam's priorities have shifted away from Juliet and onto not just James, but like in that one beginning scene where like he did talk to Juliet and he was like wondering like why Warner never comes to breakfast. Like it seems like Adam is trying to like have Warner and James have some kind of relationship, and like I like what's happening there with like the brothers.
Yeah. I like when Kenji walked into the room, hospital room, and he was like, are you in here? Where are you? And then he's like, what are you doing on the floor? And he's like, I'm having a panic attack. And he's like, what does that mean? What a great scene.
Solid.
Sorry, that was really random. Let's see if we get any more questions. We're taking questions on the Twitters.
Using hashtag booksplode me.
How did you feel about Juliet's sister? I like that twist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I just need to know more.
Yeah.
I was really hoping we would see her.
We didn't get to see her at all. So like all we know about her is like
she has telekinesis.
Yeah, she has been tortured for years and years and years.
Yeah, my question about that is also, if she's so useful, why aren't they using her? You know, like, why were they keeping her in water? And like, why would they say that Juliet's like not a good, useful person to our cause like she is? Like, you would think she's like a high-ranking officer that uses her powers for the reestablishment.
That would have been more interesting, I think.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused as to why she was in a water tank. Like, I want to know what was the experimentation there. Could she not use her powers in the water? Because someone with telekinesis would probably be able to break the water tank in some way.
Yeah.
I wonder what's going on there.
And once I found out that, like, it just, a lot of things, I mean, I'm sure we're going to get answers to all these things, but like, why was her sister, like, held and tortured, but Juliet was, like, just kept in a random cell and, like, not really restrained at all? Her powers weren't explored. Like, she was just locked up for almost a year. So, like, just, like, inconsistencies in how they were treated, and like if Juliet could be pulled out of her cell to like see if she could be useful to the reestablishment, like why didn't anyone ever try that with Emmeline, or did they? And like we just haven't heard about it yet. Like, it's hard to talk about this book because it just all it does is introduce a billion questions.
Yeah, it's kind of like, does she have some water ability that we don't know about? Like, why is she in there? Can she breathe?
Or was there some way that they were just like suppressing her powers in general? That
it's got to be something.
Well, there is a way to suppress powers, because like that's what happened to Juliet at the end when she had like around her. Which, by the way, seems really dangerous because then she can be easily killed. Like,
everything's a little confusing. Like everything, like you think about it for more than a second, and you're like, wait, what? Why didn't they use those before? Why wasn't she just like on house arrest with those things? Or why didn't she just have them on at all the times? And why did they kept to keep her in a cell if they have that technology? What does it say? What is Juliet was treated like her sister, but she discovered something she wasn't supposed to know, or she was brainwashed and put in a cell.
But she has other memories of her younger life. Like she had those memories of like
from when she was adopted on.
Yeah. Not her very young life, but like she had memories of like going to school with Adam back in the day, and like her early memory of killing a child accidentally in the grocery store that like landed her in the cell, and like her parents abusing her throughout her life. So she does have memories. Like,
But are they altered memories?
Yeah, and like once she started showing powers, why didn't that get her like taken away from the adopted family and put directly into experiments? Like, why was she allowed to like be showing powers for so long, and then they just put her in a random cell? I don't know. I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, and why? I mean, I'm assuming maybe they wiped Emmeline's memory as well. You know, like why wouldn't they? It's easier for them to deal with her that way. Because they couldn't touch her. But I mean, if they couldn't touch her, they have these things to put on her and sedate her. They must have sedated her
I mean,
something.
maybe they didn't have them back then. Like maybe it's a much more recent invention.
Yeah, you'd think even then they'd like have a tranquilizer dart and then
Something.
gloves and stuff. Can they touch her with gloves? They can, because she could touch everyone else with gloves. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. But I guess she's really scary because even when she wasn't trying to, she could hurt you.
Someone said I thought she had implanted memories, but I don't think that's the case because Adam remembered her too, and like
yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. Like everything other than the characters is a little wishy-washy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and this big meeting that they were having that she didn't know about. like she didn't know about it, and she was like, "How did I not know?" It's like, well, maybe it's because you've been commander for like 2 seconds and you're 17. You have no idea how the government's run.
This is really like a big side note, but I really liked how Kenji and Warner were like trying to force a friendship just for Juliet. And then they like finally kind kind of coming together.
Like, they kind of become friends when they don't have to be forced to be friends.
Yeah. I liked that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But also, how do you not get along with Kenji? Like,
I think it's also maybe it's part of the fact that he's like such good friends with Juliet.
Yeah,
it kind of annoys him.
Yeah, probably.
Kenji and Warner are like opposites in a lot of ways. Like Warner is all about efficiency and stuff. Like he had that one scene, or that not a scene, but it was like a mention where like he ate a cookie with a knife and fork. Like he just views like food as fuel. And like
Kenji's like, that burnt my eyes.
And Kenji's like more chaotic and fun, where Warner's like very restrained and like emotionless. And like Kenji's all heart and
Someone Kira just asked, did Juliet kill everyone at the meeting or was it someone else? And it was Juliet's scream.
Yeah.
Frustration. And it was like murdered the entire audience. And like she didn't just murder them, they like fell apart into halves. Like it's just like, what?
It was like they like imploded from the inside. Like
they melted. It's like someone sliced them all in half. I was like picturing like The Walking Dead when they take like the katana and slice people in half. Like, yeah, this is crazy. And I mean, imagine if like even if any of her team was like sitting out there, like were they like where's Castle? Like,
I think everyone else was like lined up behind her, was like off to the side, kind of. It was like just the audience.
Yeah, and then also like, so this happens, everyone dies, and then like people come out of the woodwork and start shooting them. Like, how did they know if everyone in the room died? Like, where were they watching? Like, how did they?
Who were those people?
Yeah, like why weren't they in the room? Like because then they would have died.
Who were the Oceania people? Who like were? It was some kind of trap or setup. I don't know. There's some things that happened in the Kenji novella that I can't talk about.
So, do you think words can form into actions now? Some Jaden asked. I don't know. Like, do you think she could be like door close and then the door closes?
Yeah, I didn't think it was necessarily the scream, as just it was like her projecting her energy.
But why does it like slice things? Like in the bus, she like slices it in half too. She's like a knife.
No, I don't.
Slices it directly in half.
Her voice is a knife.
She's a slicer. She's a human knife.
But I didn't feel like she sliced people directly in half like a knife.
I cannot get that image out of my head. It was like they fell apart.
Yeah, I remember that too.
I can find this section.
It's Warner. He says it. Yeah. Okay. The guests, their flesh feathered outward, swelling slow. They sliced open like fresh fish. Yeah. They're the seats they sit in, sliced open. Their faces, their bodies, the seats they sit in, sliced open like fresh fish. That's how you slice them open. Their flesh feathers outward, swelling slowly as a steady gush of blood gathers and pools around their feet, and they all drop dead. Like,
yeah, okay.
I was like, you. It was like they had a line down all of them, and then they just like fell.
But it's like every individual person like got sliced open. It wasn't just like one direct line that like,
it was just like
I don't know. Something happened at the end of the Kenji novel. I can't talk about, but it adds just adds more questions, honestly, what happened at the end of Kenji's novella.
Somebody said that in the comments that she didn't really kill the 600 people, and that Taharamafi said that.
This was just
a hallucination.
But it's Warner seeing it, not her. So he isn't.
Yeah, it's Warner's narration.
That's true. Where did Taharamafi say this? Let us know.
Yeah.
Because I'm very curious.
And it's not 600 people, so maybe that's a technicality. She killed 550 people.
No, there was no exact number because it's
an exact number, 554.
Oh, that's a weird thing because it's 554 of the commanders, but they also had their guests with them as well.
Yeah, 554 people and all their guests. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it 600?
600-ish. Like, we didn't have an exact number. But I remember someone talking about how Tahara said in like a Q&A live stream that like no one really died. And like our main characters, like she was reassuring people about like none of our main characters like actually died at the end of the book.
How do we feel about Juliet's name being Ella?
It's gonna take some getting used to. She's still Juliet to me. It's like
I was just like, Ella's such a boring name for you, Juliet. Like she's like Juliet. Like
it's Ella. Is it not Ella something? Like we have Emmeline, Emmeline. Like
yeah, Emmeline is like a nice long name, and like Ella is just like Danielle.
Yeah, we need like Ella to be short for something. I feel like
so it like stands out. Like it's just like not a YA name that you like remember. It's like Ella, Ella Enchanted.
That's what it sounds like a Cinderella.
Yeah,
name. Yeah,
for sure. Do we want to talk about our next Explosion book of the month?
Yeah.
If you guys have any last minute questions that you want to send us, now is the time to do so. So ask us questions using #BooksplodMe on Twitter or in the comments of the live stream.
Someone said Wella sounds better than Warnet. I like Warnet.
Yeah, same.
We're so used to saying Warnet too.
Yeah.
So in April, we're reading To Best the Boys by Mary Weber. Does someone want to give a little synop?
I can try. But I feel like I shouldn't. So I feel like I'm going to get it wrong. So basically there's this like town and everybody is sent this mysterious letter saying, come compete to get a scholarship for this college. And so everybody's like,
Christine, you just did a good synopsis in your book haul.
Okay, I'll do it.
You do it.
Okay. So in this like world, women are just trained to be like wives. Like they're trained to do their wifely duties, and men are all expected to go get a college education. And so this one girl, she really wants to be a scientist. And I think there's like a sort of disease going around and her mom has it and she wants to be a scientist and do research and stuff. And so there's this scholarship program that's famous that happens every year that it's like that only men can do. And it's like a crazy labyrinth maze. And if you get out of the maze, I think you get a scholarship. And so she and her cousin both disguise themselves as boys, and they enter this contest and she gets a scholarship. And everyone's like, fork no, women. They can't go to college. They can't do this. And so she is going, and everyone thinks that she shouldn't be there, that she doesn't belong there. Yeah, that's what I think it's about.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm excited, like, and how intense like the labyrinth part of this book is going to be. Like, is this a series? I should have looked that up. Like, because I got the impression that the labyrinth is like a Hunger Games. Like, it's like some serious shit getting through it.
Yeah.
That's like fantastical in some
Yeah.
sort.
Yeah.
It doesn't say it's a series on Goodreads, but I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it says "Welcome to the Labyrinth" in the bottom. So I don't know if the labyrinth is maybe like a metaphor for like her life after this event. Yeah. So we'll see. Because maybe like they try to do some horrible crap to her to get her to like not keep trying to go to school, or I don't know.
It also sounds like in this world, like once she gets the scholarship, that's only like the beginning of her struggle of like having to like change everyone's mind and like deal with like all the sexism and expectations and everything. So
yeah. So, and just if you didn't know, in May we're reading The Princess and the Fangirl. Kat, give us a little what this is about.
Okay, so this book is a companion to Geekerella. You don't have to read Geekerella first, but I would strongly recommend it because you'll get more out of this if you do. And also Geekerella is just fantastic, so read Geekerella. But this is basically, it takes place over about 3 days at a fandom convention. It's happening like, I think a year after the Geekerella. It's like the same.
Can I ask you a question? Is the girl like the girl we see in Geekerella who's the actress?
Yeah, Princess Amara. It's
okay. Because that's what I said in my book club. I was like, I don't remember for sure.
yeah. So that's her. It's the actress who co-starred alongside our male lead from Geekerella. And now the movie has come out, and people have a lot of opinions about it and about her character. And she has not been having a great time with the media's reaction to her. And like everyone's been giving her so much shit on social media. And she has to still do these conventions and promote the show. And there's just so many expectations. And so she's at this 3-day convention, and she is supposed to be on this panel. And this is something that happens in the first chapter, so it's not spoilery. She's supposed to be on this panel, and she's like running late, and she like walks into the back of the room, and there on stage is another girl who looks just like her, and everyone is acting like she's her, and she like has somehow been dragged onto this panel. And that's our other main character, who they happen to like look alike. After she like accidentally takes Jess's place on this panel, well, first Jess is like really pissed off at her and is like, never do anything like that again. But then the script for the potential sequel gets leaked, and Jess has to, and it's like people are looking at Jess as it's her fault. And so she has to find out who's really leaking the script and like what's really going on. So she needs to like be an investigator and like go do this and figure out the mystery. So she needs this other girl to take her place and like be her so that she can not be her.
The other in Geekerella, we had a leaker.
Was it a leaker or was it?
He was leaking.
Oh, yeah. He was just like leaking. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a shady practice that happens a lot when you. I mean, I believe it. There's always like fandom leaks, and like everyone wants like the information so badly. But yeah, so this book is about like these two girls who look very similar, who switch places, and each of them have like their own romance storyline going on. And there's just so much great like themes surrounding like fandom and like fan entitlement over certain things and people's opinions of you, and just it's a big celebration of like fandom. And yeah, I've already read it. It was really cute and fun, and I'm excited for you guys to read it so we can talk more about it.
I'm excited too. Well, y'all, thanks for joining us for the Restore Me live show. To Best the Boys will be, I don't know if we've settled on a date yet.
Not yet.
Okay, we'll be announcing the date when we do our little video on our channel, being like, hey, this is our book of the month, and their live show will be a say, and we'll put it on our socials. Thanks for joining us, though. We love chatting with you guys. Hopefully you join us next month and in May. And we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.